because Arkansas High Court orders the Secretary of State to keep counting marijuana initiative signatures, you guys. That's right, a big win in Arkansas because the Arkansas Supreme Court has ordered the Secretary of State's office to continue counting signatures for an amendment to expand medical marijuana, you guys. The High Court on Wednesday ordered Secretary of State John Thurston, that's a great last name, to continue validating roughly 18,000 signatures collected to put up the amendment on the ballot. Those signatures had previously been thrown out over a paperwork issue, meaning votes on the amendment in November would not count, you guys. Supreme Court Justice John Dan Camp and Associate Justice Courtney Hudson have recused themselves from the case, meaning that Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders must appoint special justices to replace them to hear the lawsuit filed by amendment supporters, you guys. Well, on Wednesday's order, it says that Thurston must continue counting signatures until slightly exceeding the threshold of 90,704 signatures needed to place the proposed constitutional amendments on the ballot. Earlier this week, Thurston said some signatures collected during a 30-day, in quotes, cure period in August should not be counted, meaning the amendment did not meet the threshold. The group behind the amendment filed a lawsuit challenging the decision back on Tuesday, you guys. And give it a second. And the signatures were disqualified because they were collected by paid canvassers. The group behind the amendment, Arkansas for Patient Access, hired a third-party company to then hire paid signature gatherers and representatives for the company instead of the amendment sponsor, then signed off on some required paperwork for canvassers in violation of state law, Thurston has said. The interpretation and application of that state law is central to the legal question in the case and could ultimately decide whether or not Arkansans can vote on the amendment on November 5th, you guys. If passed, the Arkansas Medical Marijuana Amendment would ease barriers to entry to the state's existing medical marijuana program, expanding qualifying medical conditions, and providers will be able to prescribe the drug, among other things. Oh, I can't wait to hear what Nick has to say the fact that they use the word prescribe. Legal challenges based on state law regarding paid canvassers led a proposed amendment to legalize abortion to be disqualified from the November ballot and could also decide the fate of another amendment regarding casinos. In the case of the marijuana amendment, the Secretary of State's office must file a notice of compliance by noon on Friday, as in tomorrow, you guys. Opening briefs from both sides are due by 4 p.m. Friday, with responses due on Monday, October 7th. This article first appeared on Little Rock Radio's website. And so shout out to all the people doing this work. This is great news that they're going to force this Secretary of State to keep on counting all this. I'm ecstatic about this, and I think it's a great way to end the show, and I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say about this.
I want to know what kind of berries there were, Jason.
Dingle.
I know you went barrier.
Maybe
I know you meant barrier, but
maybe dangle.
Okay.
Maybe dangle.
Dingle, dangle.
Dingle.
All right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Sick.
And don't forget about the member berries.
Dingle all the way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Boy.
Dale, what do you think about this, Dale?
Well, every state has different rules for initiatives.
Mm-hmm.
And so to make a broad generalization, it's difficult. And I think that they need some clarification. And I'm happy to see the judge didn't stop the counting, allowed to keep going forward. In fact, ordered it. I don't know if it was a writ of mandate that said you got to keep counting, just in case they don't win. They can put this on the ballot. But this should be a lesson to everybody that's going to bring an initiative forward. Hire attorneys that know how to do the initiative process. Make sure they're overseeing it, because you're going to get challenged. The people that don't like what you're doing are going to challenge you in court. And you need to have a plan ahead of time of how you're going to handle the major sources of attack of this, get these on the ballot. Because right now the legislatures aren't doing shit in some of these states. And the people need to step forward, because if you get on the ballot, I think what you find is the majority of people are in favor of moving forward on cannabis policy.
Yarrow, you tapping out? You look like you're.
No, I'm
did they put you
soaking
on
it
the
all
shelf?
in and,
Okay.
and reading the chat. I mean, I like to think our show is as inappropriate as possible, but unless you're reading the chat, you don't get the full spectrum. You need the RSO of inappropriateness by reading the chat and watching the show. So I'm just
Fair
soaking it
enough.
all in.
Okay.
I'm not on
Yarrow's
the
stuck
shelf.
on my Spain story in the chat with
He
Nick.
is.
Come on, you can't make this shit up. It's like life is funnier than comedy, and I am just.
He's.
For once, at a
Yarrow,
loss for words.
would you now categorize yourself as super saturated, just marinated in
He's a poor.
inappropriateness?
He's a very porous sponge today.
I mean,
you
between
guys.
Jenny and Nick, I'm like, wow, I'm learning a bunch of new stuff today. And so the eyes of Sauron are opening wider.
And
the whispering eye.
fair enough.
Which
Before,
stop it.
Before we get out of here, things get too out of hand, you guys. Sue Fears in the chat says there is a marijuana march on Saturday, 10/5 in downtown Fort Worth, Texas. You guys, so if you're down in the area, you might want to check that out.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Fort Worth. DF Dub.
Well, I mean, this story's a win. That's good news to end the day on, Jason. I'm happy about that.
I've been trying to find a good story to end the day on, you guys.
It'll be a win when it's said and done, and when it's all over. And I just hope that the good folks of Arkansas actually get some weed, man. Get some access, and people take care of, man. Got mamas out there that need it, right, Jenny Beth?
Well, that's why we're all about weed for the people.
Weed for the people everywhere.
We got to quit saying that so fragrantly, because that is a trademark statement now.
That's not how it really
It's
works.
attributed to Catalyst.
Yeah.
You're okay.
Yes, attributed to Catalyst.
There's always a footnote when we quote.
Weed for the people. Elliot Lewis, 2020 forever.
Well, it's Elliot and Anna. Let's not forget, it's a power couple.
That's true.